Right, we are back, guys. Welcome to the Polaris Best of 9 series here between Mr. Yo and Das Viper. So far, Viper's got it 1-0, and with this being a best of 9, it is the first of 5 wins, so we've got quite some way to go yet. I'm sure plenty of you guys out there are rooting for the Viper, but Mr. Yo, we should not underestimate Mr. Yo, who is now choosing this map as his home map. This is Shorelands, and it's taken from the War is Coming Shorelands version 2 from the Mega Random, I believe, map pack, judging by the MR there. This, I believe, is Mr. Yo's home map, so we'll see if he's got any interesting and crazy off-the-wall strats, but we'll take a little look at the map in just a moment's time. First of all, though, we should actually see who we've got right here. And we've got Mr. Yo over to the southwest of the map. He's playing in the blue as the Huns, keeping it easy for us with the colours and stuff being the same, which is nice. The most annoying thing ever is when you have a player like VNS Yellow who constantly plays as a colour other than yellow. That gets a little bit confusing after a while. And also, when you're watching like a series of games, like, you know, any best of 9, any best of 21 or whatever, and the players are constantly switching colours, that could get confusing as well. But thankfully, the players here are being kind to us folk and keeping it easy. So Mr. Yo then down to the south here of the map, and over to the sort of, well, very central once again, just to the east of the center of the map, we have got the Viper in the yellow, and he's also playing as the Hun. So this is a Hun mirror match, but I think it should be a good one. As you can see, they start with 2 outposts, or 2 watch towers, sorry. I'm always calling outposts watchtowers and watchtowers outposts. I don't know why, but there you go. Starting with 2 watchtowers. Starting with 3 boar, a nice deer patch, and obviously standard sheep here as well. Interesting that there are 3 boar. That could certainly not necessarily throw a spanner in the works, but it could certainly cause some interesting strategies to come out of this. And also 2 scout cavalries as well, you'll notice. Viper here with both of his scouts on Mr. Yo's side. I imagine he's already found his resources. If we have a quick look at the Fog of War, we can see that, yeah, he's scouted pretty much the entirety of his side of the map. Now, the players are joined by a shallow in the middle. And this is, I think, an interesting map choice from Mr. Yo, given the fact that Mr. Yo last game played so defensively. This game, this map rather, doesn't really favour defensive play too well, given the fact that if you want to wall up the middle here, you are going to have to make some pretty hefty wall off. Not only that, but we've also got the water aspect. There are a decent amount of big fish in the deep blue sea over here, and certainly going to be a little bit valuable for both of these players to try and take some water as the game goes on. I would be interested to see if we see any forwarding, though. I think it's highly unlikely, given the fact that the players both start with 2 watchtowers, and having a quick look at those watchtower placements, they don't seem to be particularly amazing, to be honest with you. This one for Mr. Yo is pretty nice. It covers his gold and stone, and also probably just in range of these villagers on the lumber camp. But Viper's towers don't seem to be in a particularly amazing position. They might get a couple of pot shots off if Mr. Yo comes in, but given the fact that these towers are here, I'm starting to wonder if the players might decide to focus perhaps a little more on the water. But then again, you know, you've got 3 boar as well, so it's going to be interesting to see what they go for here. Obviously, with 3 boar, you could do a really nice feudal time, and in fact, Mr. Yo taking 2 boar simultaneously here to make sure he gets as much food as possible could see a pretty nice feudal time and a water fight for it. We could also see some feudal aggression on the land, but like I said, with the towers there, I kind of feel like that's going to be a little bit difficult to pull off, and you'd probably need something like archers if you're going to go for that. Later on, of course, those towers aren't going to be too much of a problem, and perhaps we could see some forwarding going on with siege workshops and things like that. Viper at the moment just taking his 2nd ball now, and by comparison, that is quite a lot slower than Mr. Yo over this side. WTF one hit pwn just donated $1. He says, I think you know what time it is, son. I don't know what time it is, actually. What time is it? Is it like half past 8 right now?
It's 10 to 8.
Yeah, 10 to 8. That's what time it is. It's 10 to 8 right here on the ZeroEmpires stream. Yeah, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Yeah, I don't know what time it is. Maybe it's Grush time in a minute. We'll see. So, yeah, Mr. Yo much slower, much faster, rather, taking those boar. Viper's still with a third boar back here at the top, which is kind of strange that he's taking it much slower. Mr. Yo, then, could have a faster Dark Age or faster Feudal time even, and he's doing Loom right now. So if he drops all of his food, he might hit that magical 500, and he might just click up. Drop it, drop it. There we go, look at that. Feudal Age for Mr. Yo. And Viper, meanwhile, well, Viper's just taking his third boar now, and I'm very surprised that Viper is going to be so slow up here. I mean, it's not going to be massively slow. I mean, it's not a bad time, but still, that's kind of going to be a pretty big difference, and it's going to give Mr. Yo a small edge going up to the Feudal Age. Mr. Yo now building his second lumber camp, and that's it. It's a pretty solid Grush build from him. Splitting all of his villagers down onto the wood, moving his 4 villagers over to take the gold, and this villager up here going to probably build a second and third dock pretty soon as well. So, pretty standard Grush build for Mr. Yo. And I want to know if the Viper here is perhaps going to mix things up a little bit, because his feudal time is a little bit slower, and if you have a look, he's clicked up to feudal already, but he's still taking a lot of this boar. We'll see if he does go for a full Grush build. I mean, he's actually milled his berries as well. Mr. Yo not milling the berries there. Mr. Yo clearly going for a full Grush, whereas Viper, even now, even though he is splitting all of his villagers onto wood, I feel like he's not quite as clued up about what strat he wants to do. It's almost like he's not got a firm strategy in his mind going into this game, and it almost seems like a little bit of uncertainty here. I mean, still taking this, he's not fully committed to this Grush build. He's still got the 3 villagers on the berries here, and I'm going to be very interested to see what goes down with the Viper. Barracks just going up on the front, and there we go. I think it's going to be something a little bit different here. I'm not seeing a second dock. We could see a second dock still, and he might do a partial Grush even. But Viper now up to the Feudal Age. Of course, Mr. Yo's already there. He's already got the 2 docks out. And galleys are on the way over, heading straight over to the Viper's fishing grounds, as he already scouted that dock, of course. And Viper here with 5 fishing ships at the back. And that could be 5 dead fishing ships very soon at this rate. So we'll see what happens. Viper now continuing to scout Mr. Yo. And this is the nice thing about having 2 scouts, is that you're guaranteed to have a lot of scouting information. There's the forward. Bloody called it. There is the forward. Viper going straight on with those archery ranges. And now this is going to be where it gets interesting, because Mr. Yo has built his lumber camp here on the right side in a very good position. He's stuck it right in range of that tower. On the left side, his gold is in range of the tower. This lumber camp right here is probably just out of range, but it's not the end of the world. He could easily move his lumber up this side, which is probably going to be in range of the tower. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that, but Mr. Yo gonna scout this up here and build a counter archery range of his own. He is, however, getting water control already, and if he comes back here now, he could get quite a few fishing ships. He could really slow down Viper's economy, and all that food that he's going to lose, all that potential food that he's going to lose, could be quite costly to him. Skirmishers coming out at the moment for Viper as well, just switching villagers onto gold now. There's 7, so that's going to be archers from 2 ranges in a minute, but so far just adding in a couple of scams and even taking Mr. Yo's berries just because, I guess. And those skirms obviously going to be useful for countering any Mr. Yo archers, but Mr. Yo just sticking up some skirms of his own. And I mean, Mr. Yo's now already won the water. He can pretty much just stop making galleys and switch into making some skirms, making some archers of his own. He's already got that kind of, you know, wood and gold build already set up. So he's ready for this, in a sense. Blacksmith's just going up now as well. So obviously Mr. Yo can afford fletching pretty soon. He's going to switch into archers, I imagine, pretty soon as well. His economy is just perfectly set up for this, and he's won the water. So his fishing ship's going to be ticking over all of this time. And Mr. Yo is going to be pulling ahead in that food economy. He could because of that, get up to the castle age much sooner as well. So Mr. Yo there with fletching straight away. More skirmishes coming out, which I think is an interesting choice. Obviously, he's seen the skirms from Viper already, so he knows that going skirms is going to be a safe option. But probably going to want to switch into archers anyway eventually, as Viper is doing just that as well now. But yeah, I feel like Mr. Yo's in a good position at the moment, and I don't know, almost feel like Mr. Viper, I almost feel like Viper's misjudged this a little bit. He's committed to this kind of feudal aggression now, so he's going to be very slow up to the castle age as a result of that. He could come and take these deer on this left side and take advantage of the food there, like Mr. Yo is doing, but honestly, Mr. Yo still playing pretty defensively on the land, but he has got an advantage here. You cannot deny that at this moment in time. Viper coming forwards with those scouts. Maybe he's just trying to find out what's going on with Mr. Yo's economy. Kind of see how many villages he's got on gold and things like that. Of course, he's going to see the 4 villagers back here. And, well, Mr. Yo will want to add a couple more villagers over to gold if he wants to keep archers coming out of 2 TCs, as well as get up to the castle age as well. So, I mean, we'll see what goes on with that. But Viper, unable to get really aggressive so far, I feel. And at the moment, he's not really gone for an attack at all. You know, he's not sent any archers forwards. He's not done any of that jazz. And Mr. Yo could easily wall up on this right side, even wall up towards this tower to prevent the Viper getting in at all. He's already kind of done that on the top with a little wall off there. Viper now as well losing that second dock. I mean, well, not losing the dock, but going to lose more ships. He did run away to try and take these shorefish, but Mr. Yo's on it like an absolute car bonnet at the moment, and you cannot fault this play from him in the slightest. Now, in Viper's position, I mean, let's think, what could he be doing right now? At the moment, still making archers, and of course he can't really stop making archers, because if he falls behind in military count, then Mr. Yo will just go straight back to his eco, cause a ton of damage. But Mr. Yo's got the upgrade advantage here. He's got fletching and padded archer armor done. Viper's completely unupgraded. He's lost access to fish, and now Mr. Yo's pushing forwards across the map. Viper's forward pretty much redundant, and the only really protected by the fact that his archers are still garrisoned inside of those ranges there. Obviously, Mr. Yo could come and wall this up if Viper left them, or left the safety of the ranges. But yeah, obviously now he's forced away from these deer on the left side, and Mr. Yo so far not killing any villagers, but he doesn't really need to kill them at this point. I mean, he just needs to cause Viper some distress almost, like just prevent his villagers from gathering. Doesn't even need to particularly kill them, because he's already got a much larger eco thanks to those fish at the back. He is going to get a couple of kills though, and you can't blame him for trying. Going to get 2 or 3, probably even more in fact, as Viper does not even run them back to the TC. Perhaps a little misclick on his behalf, because those villagers just seem to stop dead. Haha, quite literally right there. Viper now forced to put up another tower, and you know, when you've got 2 towers to start with and you're forced to put up a third, that certainly does not look too good. And Viper leaving the safety of that TC a little bit too soon. Another villager going down, and losing those skirmishes there as well. Not so good. Counter attack now coming in, and Viper might get a couple of villagers in this wood line. There's 1, there's 2, and trying to hit Mr. Yo right back. And of course, if you are in the situation where you lose a couple of villagers, you've got to try and immediately get that back, because for the duration that your opponent has that advantage, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger the more villagers they have. So you've got to try and immediately hit them back. But Viper so far not able to do too much. We're just going to see another couple of villagers going down, but these archers getting cut down very quickly. And how has he not killed one of these villagers yet? These archers here just unable to do the damage. Another one going down, but so many archers dead back there. And Viper's just calling GG very, very early on. 21 minutes. That's a pretty fast game by Mr. Yo there. Just dissected that one and owned it, really. Viper back here did do the fletching upgrade for his archers, but I don't understand how he couldn't kill more villagers there. Just 3 villagers from Mr. Yo going down compared to the 5 or 6 from the Viper. And if we have a quick look at the military stats, we can see that at the end of the game, Mr. Yo had 25 kills and just 6 losses. So that's a really good going for him. And also, I bet you any money, Mr. Yo was on the way up to the Castle Age as well. And yes, he was, 54%. With those 2 stables going up, he was going to switch straight into Knights and start raiding Viper's economy as well once he reached the Castle Age. So, well played by Mr. Yo. That was a really good game by him. And I'm just almost at a loss as to why Viper didn't perhaps try and focus a little more on the water here. And with the land aggression, it must have been so... I don't know how it wasn't more obvious that it wasn't going to be easy, given the fact that Mr. Yo already had towers in defense. I just don't know. But anyway, there you go. Viper losing his first game in this series, and that's going to make it 1-all. Mr. Yo getting his first point on the board. Well played by him, and I mean... That's just good, I think. That's good news. That's good omen for this set of games so far. So we're going to go to game number 3 in just a minute's time. Stay tuned, because we'll be there